The Effects of Small Group Reading Intervention on the Reading Achievement of Students Living in Poverty by Melissa Whitfield. Poverty, also identified as being economically disadvantaged, can play a significant role in the success of a child's reading skills and abilities. In many schools, students that live in economically disadvantaged situations often have lower reading scores compared to other student populations. Many of them test below grade level and show little to no progress without additional support. The purpose of this study is to evaluate how small group intervention impacts the reading achievement of students who are economically disadvantaged and performing below grade level. The following graphic includes information from the Alabama State Department of Education report card about the ELA proficiency data of students in the state of Alabama that were identified as being economically disadvantaged during the 2021-2022 school year. The information collected shows that the majority of this student population in the state of Alabama fell into the Level 2 category during this given school year. Level 2 is identified as being a partial understanding of material taught. Ideally, students are expected to be on at least a Level 3. 3 is a strong understanding of the material, while Level 4 is advanced. The following information, also taken from the Alabama State Department of Education report card, shows the ELA proficiency for students in Shelby County, Alabama, that were identified as being economically disadvantaged during the 2021 to 2022 school year. The information collected shows that the majority of students in this population in Shelby County also scored in the Level 2 category for ELA proficiency. From this information, it's easy to see that in the state of Alabama, as well as Shelby County, Alabama, the majority of students that were considered to be economically disadvantaged during the 2021 to 2022 school year scored on the Level 2 zone for proficiency in ELA. Shelby County in particular, which is where this study would take place, has been listed to have an ELA proficiency rate of 44.9% for students that are economically disadvantaged. This shows that nearly half of this group of students are not where they should be academically. Sampling. For this study, the population being used consists of students ranging in grades from 1st to 3rd grade at a small Title I school in Shelby County, Alabama. The students in this study have been previously identified as being part of the economically disadvantaged population and requiring reading intervention based on iReady test scores showing that they were one or more grade levels below an ELA. The technique used for this study is purposive sampling. The school that the students in this study attend is a small rural school of just under 200 students. There is either one or two of each grade level, leaving less students to choose from for participation. Since the study is specifically looking for the effects of reading intervention on students living in poverty, the number of students is limited. Instrumentation. iReady Reading. This program has been chosen by our county and state board of education as the main program used on a daily basis for Tier 2 in the general education classroom. All students participate and follow a path set for themselves. Reading benchmarks. These come from Reading A to Z. This program has been assigned to teachers in the county as a way to measure reading level. This is not a daily program that is used. However, it does allow teachers to find reading level and lexile level of each student and allow them to be done on individualized levels. Research-based reading program. These will vary depending on ability level. They may include programs like Lexia Core 5, Spire, or Sound Sensible. These are nationally known programs that our state uses for remediation and intervention. Students participating in this study will be taught by the same teacher using the same research-based reading program. In this case, it will be done by a special education teacher that has been trained on all programs being used. Groups will be divided up by grade level due to school policy and schedule. General education teachers will collaborate with the participating small group teacher to determine appropriate times for these groups. The participating students will work together in small groups, receiving reading instruction on a daily basis during the school week for the same amount of time each day. All of this would happen during the typical school day, so collaboration among general and special education teachers, students, and administrators would be effective in ensuring proper scheduling times, places, and individual needs. This study will begin with baseline data taken from first iReady reading diagnostic results in August of the school year. This information is what is being used to help form groups. Results from iReady will be collected again in December and April via additional diagnostic assessments so that the growth from the beginning, middle, and end of the school year can be measured. During the school week, students will participate in their small group reading intervention for 30 minutes a school day. This program will depend on their ability and age level, as mentioned before in the presentation. Which programs will be used will be determined by the special and general education teachers once the students have been identified and groups have been made. Once lessons have begun, the students will receive quick checks at the end of each lesson. The timeline for quick checks depends greatly on how the students progress through the lessons. However, this is typically done every week to week and a half. Reading benchmarks will be done every 2 weeks to check for growth. Their progress will be tracked. Throughout the school year, the data will be compiled to measure and monitor growth or lack thereof. iReady is a nationally known research-based reading program that is used in all elementary schools in Shelby County, Alabama. It's an online program that is scored immediately after assessment and activities are completed. This is not done by a human, rather by the program itself. By using this program, it is expected that there will be minimal to no invalidity to cause errors. Quick checks and reading benchmarks do have an opportunity for invalid results due to the fact that they are scored by a human. In this study, the same teacher will be used for every benchmark and quick check, which helps with the validity and reliability of the results, but there is still room for natural human error. Limitations that could alter the instruction and results from this study would be due to situations including absences for both teachers and students, student transients, home life and economic related situations, as well as behavior. These situations will be monitored as the study moves along. Data used in this project will come from results of iReady diagnostic results taken 3 times during the school year. Each domain tested in iReady will include a grade level equivalent as well as an overall standard score that can be used for direct results. Additional data will be collected from quick checks at the end of each lesson. This gives results on lesson competency. These assessments show if a student is retaining the information they have learned from each lesson and includes words, phrases, and sentences based on the reading skill learned. Every 2 weeks, students will participate in completing reading benchmarks. These are passages broken into grade levels that measure a student's lexile level in reading. Together, data from all of these sources will be analyzed and growth will be determined. Through the use of specific and deliberate intervention, including iReady reading diagnostics, a research-based reading program that is used on a daily basis, reading benchmarks to measure lexile levels, and quick checks related to specific lessons, it is hypothesized that students that live in economically disadvantaged situations that are performing at least 1 grade level below their current grade level will have greater achievement in reading. It's expected that their score in iReady will increase, moving them closer to green, or on grade level. It is expected that their reading level based off of benchmarks will increase, moving them closer to performing on grade level. It is also expected that their ACAP results in reading will increase, moving them closer to a level 3, or a good understanding. All of this data will show the effectiveness of small group reading intervention on students living in poverty and in need of reading support. While this study has not yet been put into place just yet, this is data from my personal classroom showing the iReady reading growth of economically disadvantaged students receiving small group instruction during the 2022 and 2023 school year. At the beginning of the year, the students took their iReady reading diagnostic, and you can see their scores listed below. They took their second reading diagnostic in December, and you can see their growth. Green means that their score went up, that they are growing. Yellow means they stayed about the same, and red means that they went below their previous score. In reflection over this project and how it should be implemented, there are a few things that I would put attention on in order to make the most of the information used and given. Additional forms of data. I would work to find additional ways or forms of data to monitor and record reading growth. The district often changes programs that are being used, which could possibly make information from the current program invalid. Family involvement versus lack thereof. I would put more focus or research on those that have families that are involved in their education at home and those that are not. This may have an effect on their progress. Retaining information. To show a true improvement in reading skills, I feel it is necessary to determine if the students are truly retaining what they have learned over time. It would be helpful to research this as the project goes on as well.